Alright, folks, we're live today. Good afternoon to everyone who's joining us and to anybody who will watch this video later on. It's a wonderful day outside today. Beautiful. It's going to be probably close to 60 degrees once we're all said and done today. As you can see, heat is just spreading throughout the entire eastern half of the United States here. And just can't beat it right now. Absolutely gorgeous temperatures. It's been a while, but we're seeing some of the nicest weather we've seen in at least 6 months today. It will be the nicest day. And as you can see, everywhere from, you're talking the southwest and all the way on north towards the eastern half of the United States. Just absolutely gorgeous weather, and it's going to remain this way for the next 3 days. So I'm just going to give you a little look here into the next 3 days here. So this is today, and then tomorrow, more of the same, even warmer actually. Look at some of these 80s, mid 70s, upper 70s, just creeping up into Virginia, PA border. It could be close tomorrow. You might border 70 degrees. I think it's not out of the question. To reach 70 tomorrow, it's going to definitely be the warmest day of the group. And then you start to see a slight decline. Temperatures suppress just a little bit here. And this actually comes with the approach of a cold front, which will eventually slide into the area. But we're going to squeeze one more nice day out of it before the front comes through. And then behind that front, we're going to see temperatures drop here to mid 40s, upper or lower 40s, essentially seasonable. That front is going to set the stage for more seasonable temperatures, because this right here is about your average temperature for this time of year. So after a couple of really nice days, after a couple of really nice days, you get a couple of cooler days here. So that's what we're looking at for the next 5. Let's take a look at some of the models now. Now, interestingly enough, we've been talking for the last several days about this piece of energy right here coming on shore. This is from the 7th. So this has been sitting up here and spinning for the last couple days. And now today, the 10th, and this low has come onshore here, or very close to onshore here in California. And we're going to follow this storm now as it makes its trek, I should say, across the country. In the meantime, as you can see here, it's creating a big trough in the west, which is leading to a huge ridge in the east. And this is where our beautiful warm temperatures are coming from right now. So the storm that's actually coming inland right now is what's allowing us to get some of these 60 and almost 70 degree temperatures here now as the heat streams north from the Gulf. So we put this into motion here. Let me show you guys here a little bit here. So the heat's going to hold on for several days. And here we go out west. This is our storm here. It's still digging. And we're still ridging here out to the east. And right now we're up till the 12th. So as you can see, still that southerly flow, still much warmer than average temperatures here, but things are going to change, unfortunately. This isn't the beginning of spring. We're still technically in winter, and we're going to return to cooler temperatures, as you'll see in a second here. So we're trying to hold on to the heat here, as you can see. Now, remember we talked a couple days ago about that squeeze play? We were referring to, if you get a storm this time of year, it has to be able to thread the needle, so to speak. So what we're seeing here, you're still getting this ridging here. And then we have this really, really strong low pressure here. And this is actually going to stay strong and keep wrapping up tighter and tighter and tighter. Now, what you're looking to see is some sort of block or some way to infuse cold air into this storm. The storm's down to the south here, and that needle that we're trying to thread is right out here. You got to squeeze through this area here to get out and to actually get a storm here. And as you take a look here, see how that hole gets tighter and tighter here? You're looking at, here's your gap. And can we squeeze the storm through there? As I said, this low pressure up here is just, this is being modeled in the 960s. Very, very, very cold, deep, low pressure here. And it's actually going to funnel in some cooler air. And this high is going to be important here too. We talked about this all week. So this high trapping some air here, that low bringing some cold air down. Cold air might not be a problem at this point. Something else appeared today once we got some of these actual measurements on shore. So anyway, this is the channel that we're looking at. I'll explain that in a minute. This is where we're looking at. This is the storm's opportunity to get through and actually give us a storm. Actually give us something that would be notable. So if you take a look here, actually very disorganized here. You see a couple areas of low pressure here back to the west. See, you have closed isobar there, closed there, closed there. So a whole bunch of different things are lining up behind here. And again, you're trying to pinch through here. You're trying to squeeze through this area here. And also you have to do that with the temperatures being cold enough to actually produce snow. And right now, obviously too warm, and during the day they might be too warm because we're going to be in the 40s some of these days. So timing will be crucial here. But it does show a storm squeaking through and then colder air behind it. But this look here this is a cold look for everybody. This is going to help you if you're looking for, additional storms. You have a trough in the west here, and then a zonal flow, a little more of a trough in the east here. So this is just cool. This is just going to be cooler temperatures. I don't really see a storm opportunity there, but I do see cooler temperatures prevailing there. And then eventually, it looks like you're going to continue to see this persistent troughing in the east for the middle and end of the month here. So I think it's going to be still below average as you're getting that northerly flow here. You're still going to have lower than average temperatures, but I don't really see big opportunities for snow towards the end of the month. But you never know. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But let's take a look a little bit different here. We're going to look at that storm now. This is, for days we talked about why we're, people are like, oh, we're getting a storm, Well, we did give you guys the heads up a couple days ago when we had more data, and then the storm went away, but we expected that. That was not something that we thought, we didn't expect to see a storm the whole time, especially knowing that the storm was offshore. So I'm going to go back here. Now here's our storm, right here. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry, guys. My hand's stuck to the keyboard. There's our storm, right here. As you see, it finally moved on shore. It's going to meander across the U.S. and then eventually exit somewhere here. If you want to know where a storm is going to exit the country, a lot of times it's where the origin of the storm is. So if the storm comes in, in northern Washington, a lot of times when it makes its way out, it exits to the north. When a storm makes its way onshore in Southern California, you can usually bet it's going to exit off the southeast coast. When a storm comes in from this area, if you follow the latitude, that's going to be somewhere in our area. Somewhere in the mid-Atlantic U.S. And I do believe that's going to play out with this storm as well. So again, it's going to meander across the country, and then take a look here. I'll put this into motion here because it gets a little hard to see at times. See what I mean? The low is there, it's there, it's there, and then kind of disappears. It's still there. As you'll see in a second, it'll reappear. You can barely tell where this storm is at, but it will reappear here for you. And there you go. There's your low beginning to reform and reappear. It never really goes away, and I'll show you that on our next look. It never actually goes away, but for a while there you don't see it. But there's your low, and it begins to move across the country. And right here is what we're focusing on. So remember, for a couple days there, the models were showing nothing, and now take a look here. Now there's something. Now it's showing some wintry precipitation again. You have that cold high. It's going to give us just enough cold air, I believe, to make an opportunity for snow. So now the storm has reached the coast, moves on off, and we have a short, tiny window that gives us an opportunity for snow. Let's take a look at this in another way here. So we're on the 10th right now. This is today. There's your low. I'm sorry, guys. There's your low. That's at the west here. Follow this. Oops, sorry. I'm trying to do too many things here. All right. And there we go. Now we've reformed. So low is reformed over Colorado. There's that boundary that we were talking about setting up. That high to the north, which eventually this high will take over here. And you'll watch the storm begin to move across the country. So this is what we're looking at here now. Now we have a chance. When you see this look here, you're seeing an opportunity here. So exactly what we were talking about earlier this week. High pressure looks like it has a chance to dam enough air. You have your storm. Now, the low, it's showing the low all the way back here. I think some of this is going to play out differently than what it's modeled. All of your precipitation is well out ahead of the storm here. So this low might very well be more like here when this all plays out, because it has the low kind of all by itself in Missouri at this point. So I don't really know if that's real, but. And then it shows the storm moving just to our south. Now, I have some issues with this and why I think that this is not the way it's going to play out. I don't see this high being so oppressive that it pushes this storm so far south that the heaviest snowfall is eastern Virginia. Is it possible? Sure. However, I'm more inclined to think that the storm is going to take a more northern track. And if that happens, this area that you see here would be over our area. So as of right now, put this in motion. This is the zoomed in version of what you just looked at here. So obviously Pennsylvania, if you're in Scranton, you are here. If you're in Wilkes-Barre, you are here. Just so you have a reference point. So we're up here to the 12th, 13th, still beautiful weather. 14th, and the snow begins out ahead of the storm here. You're starting to see snow falling in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. You're starting to see a little bit out ahead of the storm. And then here's the main storm, finally moving into the area. Again, more snow breaks out ahead of it. heavier snow out to the west. And there's a little bit of a discrepancy over how much moisture is going to be here and how well developed the storm is. On this model run, the storm looks pretty ragged, doesn't look very developed, but it definitely shows this area of snow, sleet, freezing rain. And it has it farther to our south. So if this played out the way it shows right here, this would be a miss for our area. I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is going to be the way it's going to play out. Your 540 line is well to the south of us, which would mean anything that would happen here would fall in the form of snow. Now, if you look at where this storm lines up here, though, so essentially it's showing this general area, this general type of look, which I agree with. I think this is going to be the look that you're going to see here. I think this is I'm perfectly fine with the way this is showing here. I just don't agree with the area here. I don't think this is going to be your epicenter. I think you can shift this way a couple hundred miles here. So in reality, just because it's modeled like this doesn't mean this will be the way it looks. If it looks more like this, which as you see would be a shift here of, somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 miles or so, maybe 50 miles depending on where you're looking here. If this shifts to the north here, you're looking at this area here as your higher chance of snow. So again, it's really going to depend on how this plays out. What I am happy to see, though, is that the models did come back into line with what they had originally suggested several days ago. Once we have data now, we have more data that's available as the storm has come on land. So now we have an idea, at least some idea that they were on to something before. So we have to follow the next several runs. If the next several runs, continue to push us further and further to the south, then I'll start to believe it more. If the next run comes out later on today and it pushes the moisture this way, then I'm starting to believe more and more that it's going to continue to come north. I don't, it's tough to speculate at this point, but my best guess is you're not going to see a snowstorm, which this is showing a pretty heavy storm in central Virginia here on the 15th. And if we go and take a look at how much snow this actually is, according to the model here, we'll take a look and see what the model suggested that is, because that to me looks like it's probably going to be a pretty heavy whack of snow to Virginia if that plays out. Yeah, if that does play out the way it shows, you're looking at a 6 to 8 inch accumulation here for Virginia. This is that general area. And I'm just, I don't know, maybe. But again, I think we'll start to see a trend in the next couple days that'll shift this to the north. So this area here could very well be here, as opposed to where it's currently located by the next model run, and then it might even move farther to the northeast. It depends. So guys, we'll keep you up to date. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of a look that is, again, we do believe that there's still an opportunity for a storm that will come sometime between the 15th and 17th, and we will keep you posted on that. At this point, I want you all to get out today, enjoy the nice weather, wash your car, play with your kids, have a good time, because the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Friday, are going to be absolutely the most beautiful days, probably of the month, because it looks like, and we could go and take a look before we exit this video here at the Climate Prediction Center here. Let me see here and see what they're predicting for the end of the month. So this one's interesting. We actually have it zoomed in. This is your next 6 to 10 days. So from the 15th to the 19th, so slightly above average. Better possibility of slightly above average temperatures. And then from day 8 to 14, it looks like, and this would be the 17th to the 23rd, again, a chance of slightly above average again. So that is their current look right now, which actually goes against the look that they showed yesterday. But things change, and while they do, we will keep you up to date. So this is all I have for today. This is Scott with NEPA Storm Chasers. Have a great day. Take care.